Okay, another Who Raped Jani Lane video. But I've got some new info for you now. Now, I knew Jani Lane, I hung out with him one time. And what I can say is that I know he would get drunk and be really high and bang anything. So, there's a chance that he really wasn't raped at all. First off, let's go with that. Maybe he wasn't raped. You know how you're like, oh, I've been beaten down, abused, and raped. He just said that on the radio interview one time. There's no other evidence than that. Bobby Brown got to a certain age where maybe she wasn't as hot and attractive anymore, and she had to try to use somebody's possible rape for attention. Can't believe somebody would do that. But let's look at the possibilities here for a second, if you will. Now, you ever hang out with one of these chicks and they're like all drunk and high and like, oh yeah, let's do it. And then later on they say they were raped? That certainly could have been the case with Jani Lane. Now, Jani Lane was, if you're going to go to Hollywood, from what we know with P. Diddy and how Hollywood is and the music industry, if you're going to go to Hollywood and you're going to be willing to wear all kinds of makeup and dress like Heather Locklear, odds are you're probably going to be okay with that kind of stuff happening. You know what I mean? So let's go through a few of these possible people that it could have done it. Now, some people say it was Bill O'Coin, the manager of Kiss. Certainly a possibility. Paul Stanley, another huge possibility. Some people think it was Rob Halford. But I think that's just you guys are all homophobes that think, oh, Rob's gay, so he must have done it, you know? I don't think so, because apparently Warren played some Judas Priest covers later. And would you play a cover of a song from a band of the guy that stuck his penis in your anus, and you're not interested in that? I don't think he would do that. So I think we should leave Rob alone. Maybe it was the drummer or Priest or something like that. But like I said, perhaps he wasn't even raped, you know? He either just was being dramatic on that radio show, or maybe he's kind of bi and was okay with it, you know? And like I said, I know a couple of the skanks that was with him. I hung out with him before, and I've seen the types of ladies he's willing to have sexual relations with. So I don't think some of the doing a guy would be that much different, you know. And honestly, he probably had to kill himself because at the end he ended up being very fat, didn't have a very good voice anymore, and knew that he was the reason he killed heavy metal. Now, you might get mad when you hear me say that he was the reason that heavy metal died, but let's listen to this guy's opinion on it.
Yeah, and I think all of us hated that. I think the ones who didn't grow up in the video era hated that, because then we had to become something that was competing with something we didn't like. You suddenly had the hair bands coming out. It was only about what they looked like and how many parties they could have and how many 14-year-old girls they could pull after the show. I mean, the music was rubbish, and they destroyed what the rest of us created because everyone got lumped in together with it. That should be an emblem somewhere, you know. Poison killed everything. Honestly, those kind of bands did do that, I think. These things that come out and, you know, and wear makeup and, you know, what's that all about? That's not metal? Sorry.
Let people do stuff to me. I would certainly have more fans and be a little further along in the game.